Edward R. Murrow, a towering figure in broadcast journalism, stands as a beacon of integrity and courage in a turbulent era. His story, brought to life in Good Night and Good Luck, illuminates a critical period in American history when fear and suspicion gripped the nation. Set in the early 1950s, the film delves into the escalating tensions between Murrow's pioneering news program See It Now and the formidable Senator Joseph McCarthy, whose relentless anti-communist crusade threatened to dismantle civil liberties and free thought. The movie masterfully captures the suffocating atmosphere of the Red Scare, where accusations often served as proof and loyalty oaths became a chilling test of patriotism. Murrow, along with his dedicated producer Fred Friendly and their intrepid team at CBS News, found themselves at a crossroads. They faced immense pressure from network executives, advertisers, and the government itself, all wary of McCarthy's immense power. Yet driven by an unwavering commitment to truth and the public's right to know, Murrow chose to challenge the senator head-on, using the burgeoning medium of television to expose McCarthy's tactics and question his unsubstantiated claims. This brave stand, fraught with personal and professional risks, redefined the role of broadcast journalism and left an indelible mark on the landscape of American media. The movie Good Night and Good Luck opens with a stark, unsettling monologue delivered by Edward R. Murrow in 1958, reflecting on the state of mass media and its potential to distract, delude, and insulate the public from reality. He warns of a looming decadence and a price to be paid for complacency. The scene shifts to the bustling newsroom of CBS in 1953, a time of palpable tension and fear fueled by Senator Joseph McCarthy's anti-communist crusade. Murrow and his dedicated team, including producer Fred Friendly, grapple with how to report on McCarthy's increasingly aggressive and often unsubstantiated accusations. A seemingly mundane moment in the copy room between Palmer and Shirley hints at the personal pressures faced by the staff, while a more serious discussion unfolds concerning a loyalty oath being circulated by CBS. Reporters are pressured to sign, declaring they are not, nor have they ever been, members of organizations on the Attorney General's list of subversive groups. The moral dilemma is clear: sign and potentially compromise principles, or refuse and risk being fired. Murrow himself has signed it, adding to the team's internal conflict. The core of the film's conflict ignites when the team reviews footage of McCarthy's interrogation of Annie Lee Moss, a former Pentagon clerk accused of being a spy. McCarthy's unsubstantiated claims and his abrupt departure from the hearing, clearly having nothing substantial to present, expose his tactics. Murrow's team, despite the strong implication that Moss is innocent, faces a critical journalistic decision: how to present this without editorializing and maintaining their standard of both sides. Fred Friendly pushes for a more direct approach, arguing that McCarthy's actions speak for themselves. This leads to the crucial decision to investigate the case of Lieutenant Milo Radulovic, an Air Force reservist who was discharged without a proper trial because his father and sister were accused of reading a Serbian newspaper deemed subversive. The charges against him were contained in a sealed envelope never revealed to Radulovic or his lawyer. The Air Force declared him a security risk based solely on the alleged associations of his family members, despite acknowledging his own loyalty. Murrow and Friendly decide to dedicate an entire episode of See It Now to Radulovic's story, a bold move that challenges the prevailing fear of McCarthyism. This decision creates immediate friction with CBS executives, particularly William Paley, who is concerned about advertiser backlash and potential repercussions from the government. Alcoa, a major sponsor, has military contracts, putting them in a precarious position. The network tries to dissuade Murrow, even suggesting he interview lighter subjects like Lassie. During the production of the Radulovic segment, a Colonel Anderson from the Air Force visits Friendly, attempting to dissuade them from airing the story. He argues that the military has information the public does not, and that the broadcast would be irresponsible. Friendly stands firm, emphasizing that the Air Force was invited to comment on the piece, not to approve it. The tension in the newsroom builds as the airtime approaches, with Murrow and Friendly meticulously preparing the live broadcast. The See It Now episode opens with Murrow directly addressing the audience, explaining the case of Lieutenant Radulovic and the Air Force regulation that allows for dismissal based on close and continuing association with communists. The segment features interviews with Radulovic, his lawyer, and his sister. Radulovic eloquently explains the injustice of being judged on his relatives' alleged activities and his fear of a chain reaction where his children might also be condemned for his perceived security risk label. His sister Margaret Radulovic-Fishman defends her right to her own political beliefs as a private matter. Murrow's closing remarks are powerful and direct. He states that CBS offered the Air Force a chance to correct or criticize the broadcast, but notes that neither CBS nor the public knows the contents of the sealed envelope containing the charges. He emphasizes the principle that the son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, and asserts the urgent need for the armed forces to be more transparent in their national security procedures while protecting individual rights. He concludes with his famous line, "Good night and good luck," a defiant statement of journalistic integrity in the face of political pressure. The movie swiftly moves to the fallout of Murrow's direct confrontation with Senator Joseph McCarthy. Despite the initial public support and positive press, the financial and political pressures on CBS intensify. Don Hollenbeck, a fellow journalist and Murrow's friend, expresses his disillusionment with the media landscape, feeling as if all the reasonable people took a plane to Europe. He grapples with constant attacks from conservative columnists like Jack O'Brien, whom Murrow advises him to ignore. McCarthy's office demands equal time to respond to Murrow's broadcast. CBS grants his request, agreeing to a live unedited segment. This sets the stage for a direct televised battle between the senator and the newsman. Simultaneously, a lawyer from CBS's legal department informs Murrow that a file on his wife's past political affiliations compiled by the House Un-American Activities Committee, HUAC, has been sent to CBS head William Paley. The lawyer offers Murrow a deal: resign and CBS will cover any legal expenses he might incur. This is a clear attempt to force Murrow out and silence his criticism of McCarthy. Murrow, understanding the implications for his team, bravely refuses, declaring, "What you're asking me to do I could never do." The film culminates in McCarthy's televised response, where he directly attacks Murrow, accusing him of being a communist sympathizer and a member of subversive organizations. McCarthy calls Murrow the symbol, the leader, and the cleverest of the Jackal Pack that exposes communists. He reiterates old unproven accusations such as Murrow's alleged membership in the Industrial Workers of the World, IWW, and his involvement with the Institute of International Education. Following McCarthy's attack, Murrow delivers a calm yet firm rebuttal, systematically dismantling each of the senator's charges. He refutes the IWW claim as false and explains his connection to a socialist scholar whose book was dedicated to him based on his wartime broadcasts, not political alignment. Murrow reasserts his belief in open discourse and the strength of American ideals, stating, "We can compete, not only in the area of bombs but in the area of ideas." He firmly declares his loyalty to CBS and America, refusing lectures from the junior senator from Wisconsin. The aftermath is swift and decisive. Public opinion polls show a significant drop in support for McCarthy, with only 17% of households believing he proved Murrow's disloyalty. The Senate begins an investigation into McCarthy's conduct, eventually leading to his censure. However, the victory comes at a cost for Murrow and his team. Don Hollenbeck, worn down by the constant attacks from O'Brien and others, commits suicide. This tragic event underscores the immense personal price paid by those who dared to challenge McCarthy. Ultimately, CBS, facing financial pressure from sponsors and internal discomfort, scales back See It Now from a weekly primetime program to a limited series of 5 episodes on Sunday afternoons. This effectively neutralizes Murrow's ability to continue his investigative reporting on the same scale. The film concludes with Murrow's enduring monologue, a timeless reflection on the power and responsibility of television as a tool for education and illumination, and a stark warning against ignorance, intolerance, and indifference, a fight for the very soul of this republic. The final image is a poignant reminder of the enduring legacy of Murrow's courageous stand and the ongoing battle for truth in media. The conversation between Murrow and his friend Don Hollenbeck, a fellow journalist, reveals the growing pressure. Hollenbeck shows Murrow a newspaper column by Jack O'Brien, a conservative columnist who labels Murrow a pinko and accuses him of slanting the news. Despite Hollenbeck's dismissal of O'Brien, Murrow is keenly aware that Paley likely reads him. A tense encounter at a train station further escalates the stakes. Don Hollenbeck approaches Joe Wershba, a reporter on Murrow's team, and subtly attempts to hand him a classified folder containing potentially damaging information about Murrow. Hollenbeck, who works for a competing news outlet, implies that Murrow has communist sympathies, citing a fabricated history including membership in the Industrial Workers of the World and being on the Soviet payroll in 1934. Wershba, suspicious, recognizes the smear tactic. Later, Paley confronts Murrow, expressing his deep concern about the potential fallout from Murrow's increasingly confrontational stance against McCarthy. Paley reminds Murrow of his financial responsibility to the network and its employees, implying that continued attacks on McCarthy could jeopardize everyone's jobs. He warns Murrow that every member of his team must be clean and free of any past associations that could be exploited by McCarthy. Paley emphasizes that while corporate will not interfere with editorial content, editorial will not jeopardize the hundreds of CBS employees. The pressure intensifies within Murrow's team. During a meeting, Murrow directly asks his reporters if any of them have any past connections to communist or socialist groups, or even if their family members do, knowing such information could be used to discredit them. This moment highlights the fear and paranoia that McCarthy has instilled. One reporter, Joe Wershba, admits his ex-wife attended communist meetings before they were married. This revelation underscores the personal risks involved for everyone associated with Murrow. Despite the profound risks and Paley's warnings, Murrow declares their intent to proceed with a full broadcast targeting Senator McCarthy himself. He states, "If none of us ever read a book that was dangerous, or had a friend that was different, or joined an organization that advocated change, we would all be the exact kind of person Joe McCarthy wants." He asserts that the terror is right here in this room and announces that their next report will be about McCarthy, using only the senator's own words against him. The team scrambles to compile all available footage and speeches of McCarthy. As airtime approaches, they face technical difficulties, but Murrow, in a defiant phone call with Paley, confirms they are proceeding. The pivotal See It Now broadcast begins with Murrow setting the stage, announcing that the report on Senator McCarthy is controversial and that McCarthy himself will be offered an opportunity to respond. The program then meticulously dissects McCarthy's rhetoric, using his own televised statements highlighting his inconsistencies and unfounded accusations. Murrow and Friendly cleverly juxtapose McCarthy's claims with factual rebuttals, such as clarifying that the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, which McCarthy falsely labeled as a subversive front, has never been listed as such by any federal agency and has commendations from multiple U.S. presidents. Murrow's closing monologue is a powerful and direct indictment of McCarthy's tactics. He warns against confusing dissent with disloyalty, and emphasizes that accusation is not proof and conviction depends upon evidence and due process of law. He urges the American people not to walk in fear one of another, reminding them of their heritage as descendants of brave individuals who were not afraid to write, to speak, to associate, or to defend the causes that are for the moment unpopular. Murrow directly implicates the public, stating, "The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars but in ourselves for allowing such a climate of fear to flourish." The immediate aftermath sees overwhelming public support for Murrow. Other news outlets praise the broadcast as crusading journalism of high responsibility and courage. However, Jack O'Brien's column continues its attacks, singling out Don Hollenbeck and accusing him of slanted propaganda. The film ends with a somber note on the personal toll of their stand. Don Hollenbeck, facing relentless attacks, leaves the newsroom, hinting at a tragic end to his career. The news team knows the fight isn't over, but they've struck a significant blow against McCarthyism, demonstrating the power and responsibility of objective journalism. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.